All right, I went through a little video editing on this one. I've never done that, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. But here's the new Pro Beam turn signals. This is the turn signal, just a little square replacement light for the front turn signal. I will say, I've already installed one, but the gasket not having any kind of tape or stickiness to it, that you got to watch in putting it on because it does kind of pop off. So you got to make sure that goes on well. And then there's a plug through for that, for the lights. So that plugs into the light, and then that plugs into your factory. It does come with a 2-page front and back on the install. Let's show you what the old ones. That is the old one. So it has the same layout as the old ones. Go to the bike. You can see the old turn signal and the new turn signal. And pretty much fully confirmed that everything about it is just brighter. During run, it's a white beam. And then when you turn the turn signals on, it does flash orange at that point. But all the way around, it is brighter than the factory. Just standard orange. And I have been waiting and looking to find something that cleaned up that hole. I don't like the way that sticks off. I'm used to having my stuff on sport bikes and having that fairing look very, very sleek. So I really like the way that looks on that. So now I'm gonna tear the bike back apart, and then I will video what happens in the bike under the fairing. All right, so the fairing's off. I said this is the one that I've already replaced. I didn't have any gaffer's tape. I couldn't find my gaffer's tape, but the old wire comes out from underneath a couple of these holders, just tape down holders. So make sure you got some tape or gaffer's tape. This right here is just electrical tape. It's not going to hold for long, but you got to pull this piece off, and that is a 1/4 inch to pull that piece off. Then from there, once you pull the old wiring back out, you pull the old housing out, which again, here's the old housing. The old housing comes out, and then you just put the new housing in its place, run the cables up like you see here. I was able to reuse those. I wiped it back down, made sure that's good and clean before putting it all back together. And then there's a tie wrap up here on top. Cut that tie wrap. There's the old one. Cut the tie wrap. And then you have your cable hanging down to connect back onto the bike. Just an extra tidbit. I'm gonna, again, try to edit into this. This piece here, there's a little bar that sticks out. That slides into place. So when you take it apart, don't just try to pull this out. It has to slide out. So once you pull the back side out, it will slide. Then you stick it back into place. Have your wire runs through. There's one on the back side here also. So there's a bottom side and a top side. Make sure those two slide back into place. Then once this is through here, this is where your bolt's gonna go, your new bolt. They do send some Loctite with that. I did not use the Loctite. I might pull this one back apart and put just a tiny bit on it. I really don't want a whole bunch on there just in case. But the wire still flips back up into the clip there. There's a little clip. Once it's all back into place, the wire flips up into the clip, and then you can take it on back up. Like I said, I'm gonna clean all that back up first so I get good contact with the tape. Like that side's all nice and clean there. Okay, new lights are installed. I did notice, bring back up here, this is where one of the little visors on the side screws in, and that did not line back up very well the last time. So I don't know if this screw right here, tightening the screw down, and this thing needs to be up or down a little bit. You can kind of move the fairing around to where you can line up. to get that screw in, but I did notice that the screw on that end did not line up super well the last time. But got those tape back on, got a little bit of electric tape back in there, got tie wraps back on the top. Wires are just hanging, they're a little bit longer than the other ones. And then currently, I don't know how I feel about this right off the bat, but I just put a little double-sided tape just to hold that there, ran that wire up through so that it wouldn't fall back down into the fairing. And then did the same thing on this side, got the little double-sided tape, and then plugged this back into the factory harness there. So that's all laying back down. I think that's about it. Other than I will say the gasket, you got to play with that gasket quite a bit. The gasket does kind of flop around and has a little bit of a hard time getting on there good and flat. But that should be it. I'm gonna put it back on. All right, so just want to show you too, I got the fairing just kind of set back on here loosely. That, by double side taping that down, that left plenty of room to put that there. It's not touching anything. Able to get the wire plugged back in, and then there's a little bit of slack here left over, so I just tucked that down in there. Guess you could tie wrap it if you wanted to tie wrap it up, but just wanted to show that there was room. There's nothing impeding so far sticking it there. Once this other piece cap goes on, I don't think there's anything that all right, so we're back on it. There's the new LEDs. Turn some of the shop lights off. Let's see the new turn signal. You can definitely see where you're dirty. Now, I don't know if there's the hazard lights. Pretty bright. Turn the hazards back off. Key back off. Now I will say, again, this screw here, right, that's the one that's in line with the bracket that this holds. That's off just a little bit now. If you loosen the main bolt in there, you can kind of slide that plastic down a little bit. Mine were too high up. So I was able to move the plastics around a little bit to get it all plugged back up or screwed back together. But I don't know if best practice would be maybe to start, once you tighten that down, push that plastic piece that's locking in under the two little hooks, push it down and then tighten it up with it pushed down, because it had rolled up, and that was where the difficulty was, is in the rolled up. It was more of an angle facing up as opposed to straight.